My motion that everybody in this room got filthy behind that counter hit the road.
Hey, listen to me. Look here. I'm a good guy. I've got a lot with my wife and family. I don't need to die. I've got a great wife. I've been married to her 40 years.
This isn't worth it. This is a problem. Please don't. Please don't. Please.
Walls.
In a Brazilian court for attempted murder, in 2012, 38-year-old Francisco Carlos Mariano de Moura and Francisco Alves were arguing over a missing donkey. When Moura shot him, Alves was rushed to the hospital, but he succumbed to his injuries. Moura was subsequently arrested, and during his trial, Alves' son, 27-year-old Turdo, snuck his gun into the court. As the proceedings continued, you could see Turdo make his way to the front where Moura was sitting to assist her, sense his intentions, and tried to hold him back, but she was no match for him. As he rushed to the front, Muron noticed a commotion and tried to hide for cover behind the judge's desk, but Turtle followed him up and shot him until he ran out of bullets. Then he hit it with the empty gun a few times and then made a run for it and was rushed to the hospital and was able to make a full recovery. DTO was later apprehended and is facing attempted murder charges. However, Cristiano Alice DTO wasn't the first person to pull such a crazy move in court.
Wasn't the first person to pull such a crazy move in court.
Walls.
There's a case of 25-year-old Tunjen __ gang member Kel Angelo, who's in Utah court on several charges, including robbery, weapons offenses, and assault on Allah. And some members of his gang were arrested for gang-related racketeering and the shooting of 2 U.S. Marshals. In court, the prosecution brought an ex-member of the __ gang to testify. However, as he was detailing the gang's criminal behavior, Allah couldn't take it. Applause, music. Walls don't __ move, drop the P out of your hand, drop it out your hand. He stood up, grabbed a pen from a lawyer, and ran towards the ex-gang member. Angela's plan was to stab the test fire right there in court, but as he jumped over the counter, a U.S. Marshal guiding the witness fired multiple shots at him. Boom, boom, boom. And then boom, 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 boom. Following a commotion, Anala was rushed to a nearby hospital, but unfortunately, he didn't survive. The ex-gang member wasn't harmed. However, it's not the first time a convict has lost control in court. Stop recording, just like what happened in the notorious case of 52-year-old Aubrey Trill, who's facing murder charges in Nebraska on November 15th. 2017, Trill and Sydney LOF went on a date after connecting on Tinder. The next day, LOF went missing, and weeks later, her remains were discovered in garbage bags. During investigations, detectives got receipts and video evidence of LOF and Trill hours before she went missing. The evidence revealed that TR and his girlfriend Bailey Boswell had bought several tools that they used in murdering and severing her body. On noticing the police had evidence of their crime, the couple ran to another state and made several videos trying to prove their innocence. Curious, are we not allowed to tell our side of this again? I'm just a criminal, so you're going to believe none of this. And I guess it's really irrelevant. We have apparently murdered this lady. If I'm a thief, I'm a thief. But I'd be goddamned, I've never killed anyone in my life. I've never female in my life. So take that for whatever the hell is worth. Eventually, officers quickly arrested TR and his girlfriend, when he was questioned, he told officers that L's death was a music mistake involved. There was straw involved. It was not supposed to go as far as it did, but it don't remember why you things you don't remember why the places she was laid as she was, because we believe in that position, because it was missing from her that she will come back quick. Taro pleaded not guilty, and during his trial, he brought out a razor blade that he had smuggled into the court. Then he screamed that his girlfriend was innocent and slashed his throat multiple times. Lady is innocent. The first cur you all stopped recording. Officers quickly intervened, and Trail was rushed to the hospital. Fortunately, he recovered on his next court appearance. Officers ensured that he was properly restrained during the testimony phase. Trail told the court his version of the story around Luke's death. You know, she was in desperate straits, I guess is the right way to put it. And I'm sorry that I played on that. Sydney LOF died that night. Later down the road, I come up with a story to try to protect me and her, you know, mostly her, but because it was only me, Bailey, and Sydney there the night Sydney died. What did you use to dismember body? I use a saw that it's similar to Hack's all blade, but I call it a curve, so on hindsight, it was a really bad decision. But it's one I own. I mean, I have to live with it. Before he was sentenced, Trail addressed L's family, but he refused to apologize. At first, I would like to say that even though I have to direct my statement to court, I understand that it's not for the court, it's for Sydney Lu's family. And I also want you to know that my attorneys could only defend me on what I told them. And I think they did a great job at that. But they could only work with what I told them, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I guess last request is, I don't want to do this like a coward. Is there any way that I can come to that side of the table and face the LOF family when I read this statement to them? No, sir, you need to stay where you are. Yes, ma'am, I am writing this down so that I don't leave anything out, as this will be the only time I get to address Sydney L's family. I realize that nothing I can say here today will change in the least what I did to Sydney 3.5 years ago. I won't say I'm sorry, as that would be an insult to you after what I put you through, and I won't ask for forgiveness, as I don't believe there is such a thing. I doubt that there is such a thing as closure in a case such as this. So I won't pretend that I am only doing what I should have done 3.5 years ago. Trail was subsequently sentenced to death. Do find the said defendant as to the charge of count 1 murder, in the first degree guilty of murder, in the first degree by purposely and with deliberate and premeditated malice. His girlfriend was sentenced to life. However, while Aubrey Trial's action was shocking, it's nothing compared to the chaos caused by Michael case of 52-year-old Aubrey Trill, who's
out of the table and face the Lou family when I read this statement to them.
No, sir, you need to stay where you are.
Yes, ma'am. I am writing this down so that I don't leave anything out, as this will be the only time I get to address Sydney Lou's family. I realize that nothing I can say here today will change in the least what I did to Sydney 3.5 years ago. I won't say I'm sorry, as that would be an insult to you after what I've put you through, and I won't ask for forgiveness, as I don't believe there is such a thing. I doubt that there is such a thing as closure in a case such as this, so I won't pretend that I am doing that. I am only doing what I should have done 3.5 years ago.
Trail was subsequently sentenced to death.
Do find the said defendant as to the charge of count 1, murder in the first degree, guilty of murder in the first degree by purposely and with deliberate.
Marin, American lawyer and millionaire, who was in a Phoenix court for arson and insurance fraud. Marin was an alumnus of Yale Law School and had a mania that contained rare art pieces. Marin was living his best life as a millionaire and successful Wall Street trader. He had traveled to different continents and even climbed Mount Everest, a high altitude acclimatization. Climb up to 25,000-foot thing started getting bad for Marin when his mansion mysteriously caught fire and he barely escaped with the help of scuba gear. Hey, what's your emergency? My house is on fire. Are you going to get out? I got one of those ladders. You have a ladder where I'd rather work on that than underscore. So let me get the hell out of here. In the hospital, a grateful Marin recollected what happened. I realized that I actually had some air left in that tank, and that's what enabled me to get back to the window and deploy that ladder. If I hadn't had those two things, we wouldn't be talking. Following investigations, detectives discovered that the fire had been deliberately started, and Marin was arrested and charged in court. Marin could spend a minimum of S years in prison if found guilty. In court, N's attorneys argued that he was innocent, but the jury returned a guilty verdict. Can you please read the verdict? We, the jury, dull impanel and sworn in the above entitled action upon our oath, do find the defendant, Michael James, made guilty of arson of an occupied structure. We further find This offense is a dangerous felony because the off involved the discharge, use, or threatening exhibition of fire. Watch closely, and you will see Marin put something in his mouth as soon as he hears the guilty verdict fire a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument. Yes, like by the PO person, is this your true verdict? So say you want an all yes. Before the judge could sentence him, Marin appeared to swallow the same hidden substance again. As the judge began reading his sentence, Marin started coughing, and seasoned by the time officers rushed in, he had collapsed. Your honor, honor, honor. Marin was later rushed to the hospital, and it was discovered that he had poisoned himself with cyanide pills. Marin did not survive. However, when emotions run high in court, the actions of Michael Marin and Sean Stein leave us.
Dangerous instrument. Yes. Signed by the foreperson. Is this your true verdict? So say you want it all?
Yes.
Questioning sanity itself, 43-year-old Stein is in court for first-degree murder in Kentucky after getting down a district court judge on September 19th. 2024 police received 911 calls about an active shooter in the Letcher County Courthouse county shot. When officers arrived, they discovered that former Letcher County Sheriff Sean Stein had fatally shot 54-year-old Judge Kevin Mullen's video footage showed both men appear to be arguing in the judge's office when Sheriff Stein shot him. Following the first shot, the judge went under his table, but Stein still shot him at point-blank range. The judge stopped moving. But before Stein left, he fired a last shot at the unresponsive man. Stein was later arrested. He pleaded not guilty in court, and his case is still ongoing. However, shocking Sean Stein's actions were, how does it compare to the case of Clay Allen, Duke of Florida man who took matters into his own hands after his wife was sacked as a school teacher in December 2010? Duke attended the school board meeting to let them know how he felt Duke's family was battling tough times and relied on the wife's salary for upkeep. Midway through the meeting, Duke requested to address the board, but before he began, he ensured the board knew he was there for vendetta. I have a motion. My motion is that everybody in this room except behind that counter get the road before the board members could put in a word. Duke pulled out his gun. He orders the women to leave. You may leave. You may leave. Mean he told you women can leave. 6 men stay. Everyone else leaves. The women promptly left, including the only female board member, Ginger Lilton. However, Lilton couldn't just leave the men at the mercy of a hurting man, so she intervened. No, Ginger out. Here, Ginger, go on. Duke quickly foiled her plan, but it distracted him enough for more experienced officials to arrive. Having dealt with Lilton, Duke again turned his attention to the men, where the board chair tries to reason with him. Elementary, John, you see her, our benefits have run out. What I'm saying, she was fired. I'm going to grave. Hey, listen to me. Look here. I'm a good guy. No, I've got a lot with my wife and family. I don't need to die. I've got a great wife. I've been married to her 40 years. I've got 2 great boys. Please just talk to us. If I can help you get your wife a job somewhere else, I'll be glad to do that. He listened. I'm the one that signed the paper, right? Okay. I don't remember, and I don't know who she is, but let them go. I'm the one that did it. I mean, they don't sign the papers. I'm the only one that signs them. Will you let them go? Here's what I don't want to happen. I don't want anybody to listen. Just listen to me for a minute. I don't want anybody to get hurt, and I've got a feeling that what you want is the cops come in and kill you because you're mad, because you said you're gonna die day. But why, if this isn't worth it? This is a problem. Please don't. With the board chair still speaking, Duke fired at him again and again and again. Please don't. According to reports, Duke fired 14 rounds. Luckily, none of the bullets touched anybody. As Duke was still firing at the board members, the school guard Mike Jones, an experienced ex-police officer, finally reached the hall and shot him. The bullets caught Duke in the legs, and he quickly fell to the floor. I've seen him bringing his